back to another one, you guys. If you are new to the channel, my name is Andrew with Younger Volvo in Hagerstown, Maryland. For more information on our inventory, please feel free to check out the link in the description box below. So today we are in the brand new 2025 Volvo EX30 because there are so many recycled materials in this interior. Cannot wait to show you guys that. Also, this is Volvo's least expensive electric car, but at the same time, this is Volvo's quickest electric car as well. So ultimately in this video, we will be testing out and going over everything about this one. So having said that, what do you guys say? Let's just go ahead and jump right into it. And as always, let's start with pricing. And so there's essentially two different trim levels for the 2025 EX30. You got the Plus starting at $46,195, then the Ultra starting at $47,895. But regardless of the trim level that you go with, the power plant is going to be the same. Powering the EX30 is dual electric motors. That does come standard for both trim levels. 422 horsepower, 400 pound-feet of torque. That power being sent to all four wheels. This is a full-time all-wheel drive system. 0 to 60 time, 3.4 seconds. That is absolutely nuts. And yes, we're going to test that out here in a little bit. Max range for the EX30, 253 miles. That's respectable there, which can do a 10 to 80% charge in approximately 26 minutes. But more than likely, everyone's just going to be charging it up overnight while they're sleeping. So anyways, before we do any kind of fun acceleration test here in the EX30, I did want to mention to you guys the drive modes. There are plenty of them. You got Comfort, Eco, Dynamic, Tow, and Individual, adjusting things like the throttle response, the shift points, and the suspension settings. So now having got all of that out of the way, what do you guys say? Let's go ahead and find a straightaway. Let's put that acceleration here to the test, and let's see how quickly we can get our new 2025 Volvo EX30 here up to speed. All right, here's our straightaway, and go. What the heck? Oh my gosh, that is nuts, dude. So quiet, you wouldn't even think I was going that fast, but dang, you could feel it in your stomach. That's insane. That is such a fun acceleration for the EX30. So yeah, it's definitely gonna put a smile on your face. That is ridiculous. But anyways, to go along with that acceleration, as always, braking is equally important. And so up front, you will find 13.8-inch ventilated front discs. In the back, 13.1-inch solid rear discs. As far as that 60-0 stopping distance goes, that comes in at 125 feet, which is pretty much par for the course. As far as braking feel goes, it's okay. It's not a super firm braking feel, but it's not a kind of squishy braking feel either. It's honestly just right for what the EX30 is, which is a good thing for an electric car, quite honestly, because a lot of times electric car braking feels, they're absolutely horrible. But I will say this one gives you regenerative braking. It also gives you a full one pedal kind of drive mode. So if you didn't want to hit the brakes, you don't necessarily have to. You could just let off the gas and it will come to a complete stop at some point. So that's kind of nice too. I always like one pedal drive in electric cars because not all of them give it to you, believe it or not. But then touching on suspension and handling, up front you're going to get an independent strut type front suspension. In the back, independent multi-link rear suspension, front and rear stabilizer bars, gas pressurized shock absorbers, of course. As far as ride quality goes, it's been okay. It's been pretty much as I would expect the EX30 to ride like. It's not the very smoothest ride, but it's not a super firm ride either. It's, again, just like the braking feel, it's just right where it should be. As far as steering feel goes, it's wonderful. I love this steering feel in the EX30, and the other thing is, I love this square steering wheel as well. So we'll get more into the steering wheel a little bit later because there's some things in this steering wheel I have never ever seen before in any other car. So be sure you stick around for that. But as far as cabin noise goes, we're going 58 miles per hour right now. Typically with electric cars, you get acoustic laminated front windshield and front door glass. And you can definitely tell this one is insulated quite well. So it's a very serene cabin because, you know, electric car, it kind of has to be, otherwise it gets annoying. Then touching on rear visibility, it's not the boxiest vehicle in the world. So it's not a ton of rear visibility back there, but it's one of those things though that I'm sure you would definitely get used to. So for me personally, I don't have any issues with that. I like the tiny little rear window wiper affixed to the rear glass there as well. That's pretty cool. Touching on forward visibility, rain sensing windshield wipers, they do come standard on the EX30. So whenever this thing detects any kind of mist or rainfall, it's going to automatically turn on those windshield wipers for you there. So I definitely love that. But the one thing I am missing with forward visibility is I wish there was a head-up display, because I don't know if you guys noticed the GoPro shots here, but there's no gauge cluster. So my immediate line of vision here, I don't know how fast I'm going. I have to look down at this infotainment screen. We'll touch on all that later in the video, but still would have loved to have seen either a gauge cluster or scrap the gauge cluster and just put a head-up display so it's just projected onto the glass. That's what I would personally prefer, honestly. But Anyways, that pretty much rounds out the performance segment of this review, you guys. Let's now go ahead and take a look at the exterior of our brand new 2025 Volvo EX30. All right, so here she is, you guys, the new 2025 Volvo EX30 finished in vapor gray. In case you were curious of our exact exterior color name, but I like the color. I think it looks pretty darn good, but as always, let's go ahead and start with where the EX30 is made. Just taking a look at the window sticker here, this is kind of interesting. A lot of times Volvos are made in Sweden, as the headquarters is located there, but in the case of the EX30, this is 100% built and assembled in China, believe it or not. So yeah, there's that. But anyways, let's go ahead and start up front. No front grille, of course, with this being an electric car, but still Volvo managed to pull off the Volvo look with that diagonal line and the Volvo logo in the middle there. I think it looks pretty darn good. To the sides, LED headlights with LED Thor's hammer daytime running lights in typical Volvo fashion there. Get the automatic feature with that. You also get automatic high beams. So if you have your high beams on at night and it senses a vehicle coming in the opposite direction, it's going to automatically dim them back to low beams. And when that vehicle is gone, it's going to automatically bounce it back up to high beams for you there. So you got to love that one. And you can see the adaptive cruise control sensor down to the very bottom in the middle there as well. But that pretty much rounds out the front end. Let's now go ahead and swing around to the side. All right, so but now since we are around to the side of the EX30, did want to start by mentioning a black roof will come standard for all different color options for the EX30, so that's kind of unique. Also, you got that EX30 badging found on the C-pillar towards the back there. It's kind of where the floating roof line is, I guess you could call it. Gloss black power adjustable side mirrors will come standard. They will be heated. You're going to get integrated turn signals within them. There's going to be LED ground lighting as well coming standard, so if you were to walk up to this one at night, that's going to project LED lighting onto the ground, kind of like puddle lights, I guess you could call them that as well. The side mirrors are also power folding as well, so I was a big fan of that. Rear privacy glass does come standard on the EX30. You're going to get that charging port found on the back corner there, kind of where a fuel tank would be located if this were to be a gasoline powered car, of course. Then taking a look down at the wheel setup, they are 19-inch 5-spoke aero wheels, so of course aerodynamically efficient. So, and one more thing I did want to mention this to you guys. So when you go to actually get in and out, when you go to lock this one up and unlock it, you guys can see that right there, that little sensor. You hit that and then that's going to lock it up, and then you hit it again and then that's going to unlock it. So that is how that works. You guys can see the mirrors folding in, and then if I were to hit it again, it's going to unlock it and the mirrors are going to fold back out. And so but now swinging around to the back of the EX30, the first thing that catches my attention in the back here is there is no shark fin antenna whatsoever, kind of like Mercedes-Benz does now. So it's a very clean look up top. Just below that, you got the rear spoiler with an integrated brake light. You got that tiny little rear window wiper. It's so tiny, you gotta love it. It's pretty funny, but got the Volvo lettering spelled out horizontally. That looks good. Of course, you got LED tail lights as well. So anyways, no exhaust clip right now because of course the vehicle is electric. So let's go ahead and make our way to the interior. All right, so now since we are around to the back of the EX30, when it comes to opening that rear tailgate, there is a black button on the tailgate itself. It is very integrated with that tailgate, so it's kind of hidden, but that's how you're going to go ahead and open it up. But once opened up, cargo capacity comes in at 27.8 cubic feet. There is a 60-40 split, so you can fold those rear seats down if you wanted more space than that. And of course, with this being an electric vehicle, if I were to pop the hood, you also have a frunk. So you got cargo space both in the back and the front. So you gotta appreciate that with electric vehicles, but they don't always get that, so I had to mention that. But you do have LED cargo lighting back there. You got some chrome plated tie down anchors as well. There's a 12-volt power outlet. Then if you were to lift up underneath of that cargo floor, you got a decent amount of in-floor storage actually as well. Of course, more than likely to put your charging cables, but anyways, let's go ahead and make our way up to the rear legroom. Not a ton of space on paper, 32.3 inches. For reference, I'm even 6 feet tall. This is how much space I had in the back there, so probably best left for kids if I'm being honest. There's a little bit of storage where rear passengers can possibly put their cell phone back there. And there's also a little pull-out cubby with a little Easter egg on the side of it. You got the Volvo Moose. I forget his name though. Honestly, somebody put it in the comments section if you know it, but the Moose does have a name. It's kind of the mascot for Volvo, so let me know if you know what it is. But so then making our way up to the front seats, these are slim ergonomic seats according to Volvo. They are power adjustable, and it is just one simple button for all the power adjustments, which is kind of different than what I'm used to, I guess. The seats are made of recycled material, specifically recycled polyester, in case you were curious about that. And the cushions are actually made of pine oil, which were sourced from Finland and Sweden, in case you were curious about that. But then they're going to ship them to China, which is where everything's going to be put together. The seats are actually heated, and the cool thing about these heated seats is you have the ability to set up the seats where they can automatically turn on the heated portion of the seats when the temps drop below 45 degrees Fahrenheit. So I've never seen that before, so I absolutely love that because that's what happened. And we, of course, got the flag of Sweden found in the passenger seat in typical Volvo fashion as well. Overall, as far as seat comfort goes, they actually were perfectly comfortable. I had no issues whatsoever when it comes to seat comfort. But now let's go ahead and take a look at the steering wheel. It is tilt and telescoping. It is a squared sport steering wheel, according to Volvo, and I love it. It's definitely on the smaller side of things as far as steering wheels go, and I was a huge fan of that. And again, it is heated, and again, just like the seats, you can set that to automatically turn on the heated steering wheel when the temperature drops below 45, which is interesting because we're at 46 degrees right now. So yeah. Anyways, now let's go ahead and make our way to the startup. Let me start by showing you guys the key. It's simply a card. It's a Volvo card. I already showed you guys how to get in and out of this thing. Now let me go ahead and show you how to start it. You simply just set it on the wireless phone charger and shift into drive. That's basically it. Pretty easy. But so now here's my main gripe with the Volvo EX30, I guess you could say, is the gauge cluster, or lack thereof. There is no gauge cluster. There is no head-up display either. Everything is found within this 12.3-inch infotainment screen. We'll get to that in a second. So your speed is going to be located on the very top of that. So there is no gauge cluster. So let that be known. But now let's go ahead and make our way to overall interior quality. You do have a panoramic roof, and it just goes all the way into the back. It's such a nice roof. I absolutely love that. Sliding cup holders and storage found right in the middle here. I thought that was pretty cool too. It basically goes all the way out to the infotainment screen. You can kind of push it back slightly to have it just do one cup holder if you just needed that, or you can completely tuck it away. So I am a huge fan of that. I thought that was pretty cool. You have denim decor located just above the passenger side glove box on the doors as well. And I know what you're probably thinking, is the denim decor actually made of denim jeans? And the answer to that question is yes, of course. This is Volvo. Everything's made of recycled material. So the decor is made of recycled jeans, believe it or not. So I found that kind of interesting. You do have a center glove box as well. It's not a glove box on the passenger side, but rather in the center, which can be opened through the infotainment screen yet again. So that is how that's going to work. You have dual zone climate control, so both driver and passenger can set their own temperatures. Cool thing about the climate control though is there's an air quality measurement system, and it tells you if you have good air quality at any given time, which I thought was pretty cool actually. Ambient lighting does come standard on the EX30 as well. You can kind of see that on the passenger side there, so I liked the look of that. You do have the wireless phone charger. Of course, you have a very minimalist design because everything is located within the infotainment screen, so there's not a whole lot of buttons for that particular reason. Just behind that wireless phone charger, there is a good bit of rubberized storage, a couple USB charging ports kind of hidden away, and it's like a magnetic kind of thing when you open and close that up. So pretty strong magnets too, actually, believe it or not. But overall, the interior of this thing, it was very interesting. I like the frameless rear view mirror. I like the LED lighting, but things like the doors, you could tell everything is made of recycled material. And I don't know, this is kind of interesting to me. I'm just not used to seeing that. The door handles themselves are very unique as well. It's like a brushed chrome kind of look, and it's a unique design to those. So a lot of firsts, even though I've reviewed so many Volvos at this point, there are so many firsts within the EX30 here. But now let's get to the main show here. The only tech whatsoever in the EX30 is this massive 12.3-inch tablet style infotainment screen where you essentially do everything off of this. So let me start with one of my favorite little quirks about this is you have ambience, themes, and sounds, which by the way, it is sounds as well. So you got Northern Lights, Nordic Twilight, Midsummer, Archipelago, I probably butchered that, and Forest Bath. So yeah, I think they're pretty cool images. I like the Forest Bath and the Northern Lights. I think they look pretty darn good. And yeah, sounds come with that, although I have it turned off right now because I'm making a video, so yeah. Of course, you got Bluetooth and audio streaming up there, Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. You can open and close the glove box up there. You got your climate control settings. You got your heated seats and steering wheel buttons up there as well, along with your radio information, of course. So when it comes to the sound system, there is one of them. It is a 9-speaker Harman Kardon sound system with 1,040 watts to it. That is insane. So I do believe you guys know what we have to do here then. Let's go ahead and turn on the radio. Let's see what we got playing today, and let's test out the clarity of this one. All right, couple things there. Probably the wrong song to test out that sound system. But second of all, where's the volume knob? I need a volume knob, I'm sorry. I think what Volvo wants you to do is hit the steering wheel mounted controls, and then from there you can use the touchscreen to actually turn up and down the volume. But volume knob would have been so much easier and 1 or 2 less steps than actually hitting this and then touching that. So it's just simpler with a volume knob. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, classical music couldn't really fully test that out, but it gets the job done, I suppose. But last thing I wanted to mention to you guys on the infotainment screen is when you do put the EX30 in reverse, it will make the sound that you're hearing right now. Very high definition rear view camera. I love that. You also get a 360-degree monitor if you go with the Ultra trim that we have with us here today. So I did want to specify that. But as always, that is going to lead us into safety. So this one is not yet rated by IIHS. That's typically the first thing I like to mention. But when it comes to safety, that's really where the differences come in between the Plus and the Ultra trim level. So this is what the Ultra is going to add over the Plus trim level. You're going to get low speed rear auto brake, a 360-degree camera with a 3D view. That's what I just said. Park pilot assist, lane change assist, and then pilot assist as well. So that is it. That's where the changes come in between the trim levels. So anyways, overall, when it comes to my final thoughts here of the EX30, this thing is insanely fast. 0 to 60 in 3.4 seconds. Pretty darn quick, so I love that. Also a pretty darn attractive starting price for the power that you get with this one. So if you're buying this for an SUV with practicality but also want to have a ton of fun in an electric car, this thing's priced pretty darn reasonably at $45K. That's all I'm saying. And so, but that is about it for this one, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to follow Younger Volvo somewhere on the screen, social media stuff. Be sure to hit the subscribe and the bell notification button if you're into new car reviews and all of our fun YouTube shorts we put on our channel as well, of course. Do appreciate you guys watching more than you know, and we will see you guys all in the next video. Bye.